Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Craig Button, standing by, brought to you by our friends at the Waddling Dog, also sponsors of our daily poll question. Joined now by Craig Button, TSN Scouting Director. Canucks host the Avs tonight. And by the way, we just found out it looks like Thatcher Demko is going to get the starting goal for Vancouver. Doesn't look like Quinn Hughes is going to play. So that would be a second straight miss.
Not good
for him. Lower body injury suffered in Dallas. And we're joined now by Craig Button, TSN Scouting Director. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. How y'all holding up with all the snow going down in the lower mainland?
Well, Ryan and I are okay, but Rick, who lived in Fort St. John, is having all sorts of trouble.
No, it's a little cold, Craig. Little cold. I got the toque out, the gloves. It's a little.
So is this your declaration that you're officially soft now?
No.
Yes.
Is this like a public declaration?
Craig, in my younger days, I could handle it. Once you hit 50, something happens. Something happens, Craig.
Yeah, you get soft.
Yeah, I'm older than you. I don't think I've given in to soft yet.
No, I'm not soft.
Like Rick.
Tough as they come.
It's a public declaration.
No, it's not.
Everybody's heard it. Nope.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, moving on. If you don't, we're going to put you to work, Scouting Director, okay?
Okay.
What are the Canucks getting in Filip Chytil?
When Filip has been healthy, and obviously, like a lot of players, they go through stretches where they're not able to play because of different injuries. Filip Chytil's a really good, solid two-way center. He's not a number one center. I always thought that he could absolutely be a number two center. Oh well, guess what? That's what the Vancouver Canucks are looking to get from him. But he's smart. He's competitive. To me, I think that Filip can be a 20-goal. 50 point guy. Maybe it's 55 points. But one thing about Filip that I think is really underrated in his game is that he's been able to make players that he plays with better around him. So you put him in the middle of the ice because he's so responsible, because he's so smart, that allows the wingers to be able to do their thing. And he's always been able to bring out the best in them. So when Filip Chytil is healthy, I think Filip Chytil can be a really good, solid second line center for whatever team he's on. And even with the New York Rangers, there was always a feeling, maybe not within the Rangers organization, but outside of it, that given an opportunity that he could fill that second line center position, and was never really given a full opportunity to do that. And that might have been because of some of the injuries that he suffered, but I think a really good, solid player.
I don't know what Rick Tocchet thought, but I just love the way he attempted to go end-to-end a couple of times, Craig. It reminded me of Pavel Bure's debut, and I've taken a lot of heat for that, so we'll move on from that. Marcus Pettersson, what will he add to the Canucks blue line?
Stability. Marcus is really smart and understands. And I think that for players, and certainly when you reach the age that Mark is at, you better know what your game is, and you better be comfortable playing that style of game. And when you're a little bit younger, you come into the league with maybe different expectations, not only from outside but within yourself as well. Marcus is just a steady, stable defenseman. Get the puck, move it, defend well, make sure you don't put your team in trouble. That to me is his game. There's not a lot of flash to Marcus Pettersson's game, but there's a lot of really significant efficiency. And a lot of times, Donnie and Rick, we hear this, well, no, can he do this? Can he do that? You need different types of players to be able to give you that consistent, stable play. I think Marcus Pettersson can do that for the Vancouver Canucks. And I think he knows exactly what he is. He's not going to try to be something that he isn't. And I would suggest that he doesn't try to be something that he isn't.
Craig, we haven't got your thoughts on J.T. Miller, the trade. You're losing a heart and soul guy. What'd you think about the move?
Well, I mean, I think Jim Rutherford laid it out last week in the article and in the interview with Gary Mason. He said, we'll probably have to look at this as a 2 or 3 step process to replace J.T. Miller. I mean, J.T. Miller is a mover and a shaker, and certainly Jim acknowledged that there was some a scenario that was untenable and they had to move forward. I think for the Vancouver Canucks, putting this behind them without everybody having to deal with it is significant, and I think it's a win in that regard. But when you have a player that can do the things that JT Miller can do, you miss that in your lineup. He's competitive, he's hard, he's skilled. Go and ask Nathan McKinnon how he feels about coming into Vancouver and not having to play against JT Miller. You'll get a smile across the face of Nathan McKinnon because JT Miller can match up against any center in the league, against any center in the Western Conference, and make life hard on them. Became a little bit easier for a lot of the top centers in the Western Conference without JT Miller in the Canucks lineup.
Craig, the Canucks made Carson Soucy available this morning, and one of the reasons they did it, Craig, is because Marcus Pettersson bumped him into the third pair left side, but there's a kid named Elias Pettersson there who's doing really well, and the Canucks want to take a long, hard look at him. He's going to be in the lineup tonight again. Are you surprised Soucy is on the market? And a little bit about Elias Pettersson, the young defenseman. He's been good so far, Craig.
Well, I've watched Elias Pettersson for a number of years. He's hard. Rick Tocchet, when he talked about Elias before his first game, he said, we want more of that type of player. We want a hard-edged player to play that. And that's Elias's game. And, I just talked about Marcus Pettersson, knowing what his game is. I think Marcus Pettersson just talking about his game. Now with Elias Pettersson, I think at a young age, he knows exactly what he is. The other thing, Elias has always been really good too at playing with good players. Like, you go do your thing, I'll do my thing. I'll go back a long time here. You want to talk about Pavel Bure. Craig Ludwig was Chris Chelios' partner for a long time in Montreal. And, Craig Ludwig wasn't flashy, but he was efficient. He was hard to play against, and it allowed Chris to do his thing. Now, I'm not suggesting that Elias is going to be a top guy, but he can help his partner just do his thing and being hard. Listen, Carson Soucy was signed for the Vancouver Canucks to come in and be what Elias Pettersson is. And he simply hasn't done it. He hasn't been consistent. He hasn't been hard. He's been too easy to play against. He's been mistake prone. So to me, there's simply no surprise here that the Vancouver Canucks have said, if you want Carson Soucy, he's available. Carson Soucy, through his play, has made himself available and not wanted by the Vancouver Canucks.
Whatever happened to Craig Ludwig's shin pads? Because Elias Pettersson could use those, couldn't he, Craig? Remember those things? They were like 5 yards wide.
Well, they were. He carved his own equipment. He had the same skates, and they got him a new pair of skates one time, and he said, "I can't use these." He would stitch up. He had the same skates he played at North Dakota that he finished his career with in the NHL. Same shin pads. He patched it together and stitched things together, and he was comfortable in that equipment. And the bottom line is, they should be in the Hall of Fame, shouldn't they be? Or you think maybe they should make it. I'm going to talk to Luddy, and I'm going to ask him. Maybe he should take those shin pads and make them into a whiteboard. A hockey whiteboard, Craig Ludwig's whiteboard shin pads.
Oh, they were just huge. Well, one more thing, Craig. I think we talked before with you about Travis Green being an Adams candidate, but they win again last night over Nashville. They won 5 straight games. Adam Gaudette scores his 16th goal. What's going right with Ottawa? They're just 2 points behind the Leafs.
Yeah. I was joking, Donnie, earlier today. Last year at the beginning of the season, I said, Ottawa Senators are gonna push in the Eastern Conference, and they're gonna make life uncomfortable with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maybe I was just a year too early in my prediction. Travis has done a really nice job. I think the biggest thing that's happened with the Ottawa Senators is their consistency in terms of their effort and digging in. They've always had this skill, and young players come into the league with a lot of skill, and they certainly had a lot of it. But understanding that it's not all a skill game. It's not all about skill. It's about digging in. It's about being hard on pucks. How many times have we heard Rick talk, hold the puck, take a puck to the net, take a hit on the wall, all those types of things. I think that Travis has instilled that in his group. The consistency I see in their game now has allowed them to have that success. And whereas before we'd see them in, we'd see them out, we'd see them start late, now chase a game. I don't see that anymore. And that's a good sign for a team that wants to be competitive and wants to find more ways to win.
Craig, thanks for this. We'll see what we can do about getting Ludwig's pads into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Thanks for this.
Okay, I'll talk to him.
Okay, all right.